Hello everybody, I'm Charles Kovess. Great to be part of the Emerging Innovation Summit 2020. My topic is why industrial hemp and the D8 decorticator will revolutionize our planet. It's a big call, particularly in this coronavirus times in August of 2020. Some 8 years ago, I knew very little about industrial hemp. I was approached by a friend of mine, Frank, who introduced me to Adrian Clark, firstly Adrian Clark and then his brother Anthony Clark, to talk about industrial hemp and the decorticator that Adrian Clark had innovatively created. Let me tell you where that led to, but one step back. Where will this revolution come from? Well, in 1956 there was a revolution in Hungary against communism. And whilst it was technically the Hungarian Revolution, I take great interest in the history of that event and Hungary because both my parents were refugees from Hungary. They arrived in Australia in 1949. Neither of them could speak English. My mother, when she arrived here in midwinter in July 1949, was 16 years of age. My dad was 25. They came here with 2 suitcases. That was it. Why did they come here? Why did they leave Hungary? Because Hungary was becoming and dominated by communists. How did they come into Hungary? You will recall towards the end of World War II, Russia was on the side of America against Germany. The Russians came through and essentially took over Hungary. My parents left the home that they loved to come to Australia for freedom. And interestingly, my work in my whole life has been driven by this important principle of freedom. And I say to you that our humanity is crucially linked to freedom. I say that there's not much difference between us as human beings and animals. The difference is freedom. Animals are not free. They are driven by instinct. We are free because we have consciousness and we can choose. We can consciously make choices. Now, what's more important to you, freedom or security? I have made that decision in my life, but many people, in fact, the majority of people, choose security over freedom. Right now, in coronavirus lockdown, our freedoms, particularly in Victoria and Melbourne, where I'm recording this, and indeed where the organising committee is based, with the wonderful work of Alex Boyovsky, our freedoms have been curtailed almost as much as under communism. So this is really reinforcing for me very strongly, I want freedom. I will give away security for freedom. Coming back to hemp. Adrian Clark invented his decorticator because he was driven, and his family is one that has been driven by the desire for freedom. Adrian then he was not trained as an engineer, he wasn't a farmer, but he thought in his life and through the 80s and the early 90s, he said, what is the key to human freedom? And he came to the view that the key to human freedom on our planet is profitable, sustainable, successful family farms. I want you to think about that. Why is that the key to freedom? I happen to agree, and indeed, in 1976, with my mother and father and my brothers and sisters, we bought a farm in Victoria that we still own 44 years later as an organic farm because my dad experienced what difference it made during the Second World War, while he was in Hungary, to being a landowner, to being able to produce your own food. The freedom that comes from that, the freedom to make decisions. I say, and Adrian Clarke saw this and I agree with him, that if farming around the world is corporatized, and the Financial Review in Australia and the major financial papers in America say, oh no, you have to corporatize to make enough money from farming. If it's corporatized and more people move to the city, I say that is a disaster in terms of human freedom. That awareness has been driving my involvement with industrial hemp. Adrian Clarke saw this, so he said, what is the crop that will guarantee, well, the most likely to guarantee successful, sustainable, profitable farming? And he said industrial hemp. Why? I'll share that with you in a moment. But he then says, if industrial hemp is the crop, why don't people grow hemp? Because back in 1994, when he started on this journey, and by the way, he died in 2015 from the stress and the difficulties of this journey, he asked this question, why aren't farmers growing industrial hemp? And the answer was this. It is a magnificent crop, but to access all of its wonderful benefits, you have to separate the stalk, which is 3, 4, 5 meters high, into two parts, the skin and the core. The fiber and what's the core of the plant is called hurd. Fiber and hurd. You have to separate these two components. That process is called decortication. And for 10,000 years, all of the known history of using hemp, that decortication process required retting. And retting is a Dutch word that means rotting. You have to rot the stalks for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, turn them on the ground, let the microbes start breaking it down before you could start to separate these two important products of this stalk. It was that problem of retting that Adrian said, I'm going to solve that problem. I'm going to invent a machine that enables that decortication to happen without retting. And that problem has now been solved. The D8 decorticator, a picture is on this screen. The D8 decorticator changes that whole economics of hemp so that a farmer can now grow magnificent crops all around the world, different seeds for different environments, and produce seed, fiber, hurd, and dust. And this one crop that grows from seed in 120 days maximum will produce vast amounts of biomass to produce 10 categories of products. Get that, 10 categories of product from one crop, provided you can decorticate economically. And because of the retting problem, hemp products were not economical. That's why cotton took over from hemp in the mid-18th century. Up until that time, the British Navy, for example, the whole British economy and the empire and its expansion was built on hemp sailing sails, uniforms made of hemp, rope made of hemp. Hemp was a crucial element of the British economy of the 17th and 18th centuries. That changed with the invention of the cotton gin, the innovation of the cotton gin. Adrian came along, invented the decorticator to decorticate without retting. This one crop can produce 10 categories of products. Just imagine 10. Food from the seed, clothing from the fiber, shelter from the hurd using hempcrete, medicinal products, and you've all seen the conversation around the world on CBDs, on cannabis as medicine. The fifth category, fuel. You make wonderful, viable ethanol from the hurd. Number 6, fertilizer. Hemp fertilizes the land in which it's grown. Number 7, composite products. Hemp fiber replaces fiberglass. Number 8, beauty products, cosmetics from the hemp seed oil. Number 9, rope and baling twine. Number 10, packaging. Replacing wood fibre in packaging. This is an amazing crop. The more hemp that is grown, the more environmental and sustainable revolution we will have. The D8 decorticator enables that. I honour Adrian Clark for being so innovative and so inventive and so committed and so passionate that he invented the decorticator. It's called the D8 because this is the 8th version of this machine. This will revolutionise the planet, and the coronavirus is increasing the opportunities for hemp because people are waking up about the health benefits of hemp. So I've crafted a mantra for hemp, HP by 4. HP being the first and last letters of hemp. Healthy products lead to healthy people, lead to a healthy planet with healthy profits. Please take an interest. Good luck.